Hey New Retro Wavers, I'm Electrish and you're watching NewRetroWave TV. On this episode, we have a special guest by the name of Jay Diggs. Let's hear from him right now.
What's up everybody, this is Jay Diggs and you are watching NewRetroWave TV.
As you're going to hear in this show, Jay has a great way of putting his own spin on some tracks that we all know and love, such as this one, the Pokemon theme. And now I get to speak with Jay Diggs himself. Hey there, Jay. How are you?
What's up, NRW family? I hope you guys are doing amazing. Electrish, thank you so much for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on NewRetroWave TV. So your fun style is both funky and fresh. So how did you get started as a retro funk artist?
So my retro journey, as I call it, started off pretty similar to most, I think. For me, it was around 2009, 2010. And well, for me, it started off with Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And so as everyone probably knows, that game had a all 80s soundtrack. So I was listening to a lot of that soundtrack on YouTube, I believe. And then I started getting recommendations for synthwave tracks. And so I started hearing the Drive soundtrack and Tesla Boy and a few others. And I was blown away because I never heard anything like it, because it was obviously like as you know, it sounded familiar, but not quite familiar. I was like, what is this? So I went into a deep dive and I watched Drive and just went down like all the synthwave and cyberpunk movies and so it went down that route. And so I started making traditional synthwave. I was new at it, so I was trying to do the electronic thing. But I guess it wasn't really for me. Like I did some songs that sounded okay, but I'm like, you know what? This isn't me, because my background was in R&B. I was a songwriter and still am a songwriter, but I did songwriting for pop artists and R&B artists when I was young coming up. Did some ghostwriting. And so I was like, okay, I love the 90s, you know. And then so like, let me go back and see what R&B was in the 80s. And so I went back and I started hearing Prince, and I listened to Prince for like 3 months straight. And then I found the SOS band and all these funk bands from the 80s that still had the synth element to it. And I was like, oh man, what if I fuse this? What if I fuse this like synthwave, dreamwave thing with more R&B, with a more R&B sound? And so I think that's where my journey deviated a little bit and brought me to where I am today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, we can definitely hear the retro funk and the synthwave together. It's great because bands like Daft Punk, for instance, they were actually inspired by retro funk, and you can hear that in their sound. So it's definitely a great version of that mixed with the synthwave world. Speaking of musical influence, I think that we don't hear this particular sound and style quite enough. So I would like to know, who are your most major influences during your musical journey?
Definitely Prince is one of them. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, a team of producers who worked with Prince. That whole sound, they all came out of Minneapolis, and they developed what a lot of us know as the 80s funk sound. So they're big influences. But number one, it's cliche, but I have to say Michael Jackson, because I just remember when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, like I was on a Michael Jackson kick. Like I just remember dressing up in khaki pants or dress pants and putting on these white socks and pulling the pants up and just literally like performing Michael's show. Like I would put his show on TV, like his live show, and I would perform with him as he was performing for the audience. And I was like in my living room and just pretending like there's thousands of people around me. And so I just remember that moment and just singing his songs over and over again. And so I have to say Michael is just the biggest influence. And I think he's a big influence for a lot of artists, but I can't say anyone else, because I was just so deep. I was such a deep Michael fan.
Awesome. Well, we all love Michael Jackson, and he's definitely an influence that a lot of retro artists have had, for sure. So the music video for the song Both Ways is both fantastic and hilarious. So how was the concept for this music video imagined? And I want to know, did you actually have that dream?
The Both Ways music video. So I get teased about this all the time. So with that video, I really wanted to have fun with that video. You know, I didn't want anything to be too serious. I wanted it just to be like hilarious and kind of like trolly. But the way the song came together, the song was inspired by a relationship that I had with a girl. It didn't go how I wanted. She was bisexual. She liked girls as well. And I found out that she was talking to a girl on the side, you know, while we were talking. And at the time, I didn't know how to deal with it. You know, it kind of affected me in a negative way. But later in life, or when I was working on my album, I thought about that, and I was like, And I just thought, like, what if, what if I flipped it? You know, what if I flipped that concept into something positive, or to something, funny, just something to like laugh about, and not take it seriously. And so almost just kind of turning that painful experience into a pleasure or just a fun idea. So that's how that came about. And then the music video was I just wanted something funny, because I didn't want to actually have like two girls. I was like, what if I was with the girl and then, it was just a doll. So like this three-way experience with a doll. And so, yeah, so that video, it was so much fun. Like, and I worked with a great team, and I'm glad Nasal, the woman who's in the video, she's actually a longtime friend of mine. And so I was glad she was able to come out and help with that. And it was a fun time. And that whole experience was funny because the night before the music video shoot, we did all this planning and everything, and we were planning the scenes, and we got the locations, and we were all ready to go. And it's like in the middle of the night, and we realized, oh shoot, we didn't buy the doll. And so I had to go out in the middle of the night in LA and try to find a sex doll, which was an experience, because I'm calling around. And people at the sex shop, they're talking to me. They're like, they think I'm actually looking for a doll or actually use. And they're like, oh yeah, we have whatever you like. Yeah, we have all kinds of skin tones and breast size and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I just need a doll for a video, in my head. So that was a weird night, but it was a lot of fun to put that together.
Yeah, that video is definitely one that stands out as a really funny and hilarious and fun video. I'm sure it was even more fun to make, so instead of me just talking to you more about it, let's go ahead and show the music video for Both Ways. All right, and there you have it. That was the music video for Both Ways by Jay Diggs. That's from his album Jams, which you can find more of on NewRetroWave.com. Check it out. The doll is not included. So off the album Jams, the song Slasher is definitely a synthwave gem. I love that track. So what inspired this track for you? And what is your favorite 80s slasher?
Oh man, Slasher is such a great tune. I love that song because I had so much fun making it, for one. And for me, I'm a big, not just 80s horror, I'm a big horror fan in general. I love horror so much, but I definitely love 80s horror. And I was coming up with concepts for my album, and at the time I was watching a lot of slashers. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, how can I use that? I was like, slasher, that's such a cool, word for a song. And I was thinking about how I could use that. And I was thinking, oh, what if I compared love to being a slasher? Because I was thinking like, oh man, sometimes love, it kind of sneaks up on you. It finds you, once you're in love, you can try to fight it, but you can't really fight it. And I was like, man, love is a slasher. It's coming to get you. It's coming for you. And that was just kind of speaking that in my head. And, love is a slasher. And I was like, okay, that works. And then just, it's such like an oxymoron, like comparing this beautiful thing to this like scary monster, love. Like love just being a slasher, you can't avoid it, you can't hide. And so I thought that was great. And for me, my favorite 80s slasher, oh boy, that's a tough one. That's really hard. I like Friday the 13th, obviously. For me, I don't know why, but I really like Chucky. I really like Child's Play. I don't know. I think that like the original one for me, I just love. My favorite scene is when he first reveals himself to the woman, to the mom, and she's like talk. It's like talk. I'm gonna throw you in the fire. He's like, you're stupid. I'm not gonna cuss on you. I don't know if I can cuss on the channel, but that was like one of my favorite scenes. I can watch that over and over again and just laugh. There's a lot of great slashers out there, but that one was probably like my favorite just because I love that scene.
Yeah, Chucky's a good choice. But let's talk about Freddy. You did a cover of Never Sleep Again as Freddy, and it's like R&B style. But I love that, so let's go ahead and show them that.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. Yeah. We going to sleep. We're doing all kinds of things tonight. Anything but sleep. 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. We going to sleep. We're doing all kinds of things tonight. Stay up with me all 7, 8, can you stay awake? 9, 10, never sleep again.
Leave it to you, Jay, to make spooky look smooth. So coming up is your live performance of Slasher, which I'm so excited to hear. But before that, I want to know what's coming up next for Jay Diggs.
So what I have planned next. So right now I'm doing a lot of production work. I'm working with some other artists right now and just behind the scenes doing some production and songwriting. But I'm at the same time, what's next for the Jay Diggs project is I'm currently working on some new singles to release, and I'm really excited about them. I'm excited to expand my sound a little bit and not necessarily do experimentation, but to just kind of make songs that are a little bit more fun and danceable, and just kind of try to stretch the genre a little bit. Still gonna be R&B, still gonna be funky, still gonna have a vintage vibe to them, but I'm excited to just try some new things and try some new sounds. And yeah, I'm just looking to starting this fall, just release a string of singles. I haven't decided on a second album just yet, but I definitely want to get some new singles out there. So that's what's next for Jay Diggs.
All right, there you have it. Thank you, Jay, and I can't wait to hear this live version of Slasher.
All right, guys, coming up next, I'm going to perform a song for you from my debut album, Jams. The song is called Slasher. Let's go.
And now, here's Jay Diggs featuring Aoxys on guitar. Take it away, guys.
What you gonna do, babe? What you gonna do, baby? What you gonna do, baby? Come on! Woo! What you gonna do, babe? What you gonna do, baby? What you gonna do, babe? Hey! Doesn't care about your feelings, just takes control. It's a different kind of demon, it's beautiful. Give it to your heart's desire, let it lead you astray. Feel the passion and fire, you're not getting away. You keep running, it keeps coming, you might as well just give it up. Love is a slasher, it's coming to get you. Love is a slasher, it's coming for you. You're a little red Corvette, you never stay for long. You always want more for less, but you've been all alone. It feeds off your fear of us, it'll lead you to me tonight. It's got a thing for danger in us, it feels so right. You keep running, it keeps coming, you might as well just give it up. Love is a slasher, it's coming to get you. Love is a slasher, it's coming for you. Hey. What you gonna do, babe? What you gonna do, baby? What you gonna do, baby? Hey, you keep running, it keeps coming. You might as well just give it up. Love is a slasher, my love is coming. It's coming to get you. Love is a slasher, there's no way to run from how you feel. Love is a slasher, it's coming to get you. Love is a slasher, it's coming for you. Where you going, baby? What you gonna do, baby? Come on. What you gonna do, baby? What you gonna do, baby?
Thanks for watching another episode of NewRetroWave TV. I'm Electrish, and if you enjoy NewRetroWave artists like I do, you should check out the links below for more. Thanks again to Jay Diggs, and thanks for everyone watching.